Welcome to Earth2, where superheroes exist and comic book talk is the norm. It's your boy MoeCrosby. I am here today to give you what I feel like is the best news I've received today, and there's a lot of news to talk about today. But I am just going to be talking. I'm going to talk about this, and later in the video, I'm going to give you some of the other news that we got. I'm talking about mostly the Neflix acquisition of MillarWorld. So before we get into this, I'm going to kindly ask for you guys to sit back, relax, and as always,
welcome to the planet.
if you weren't alive when Warner Brothers acquired DC, or you somehow missed it when Disney acquired Marvel, if you were asleep this morning, you would have missed that Netflix has acquired MillarWorld. Netflix acquiring MillarWorld to me is the equivalent of Warner Brothers acquiring DC or Disney acquiring Marvel. It's a big studio or big production house acquiring a comic book company so they can have access to their content so that they can actually make these into TV or movie. Now, Netflix buying MillarWorld to me means actually, before I even go into it, let me introduce you to the guy first. The Who. MillarWorld is actually owned by Mark Millar, a comic book writer. He's written such books as, you know them by the movies if you don't know the books, but there's Kingsman, the Secret Service that's was good enough to make a sequel, Kingsman: The Golden Circle. There's Wanted, if you didn't know that. The movie with James McAvoy and Angelina Jolie. It was good. It was okay. Not great. But then there was Kick-Ass and Kick-Ass 2. So those are three of the just the straight up Millar writing from his those are his works. That's Mike Millar's work. But he's also written two other comic books for Marvel that got translated into movies. Last year's Civil War was his comic book darling, or I love that event, and it got translated into a very, very good movie that a lot of people loved. And there was this year's Logan from the comic book Old Man Logan that people still question a lot of Old Man Logan, and some people question the movie, but there are people who love them both. Now we can get to talking about MillarWorld. Oh, I can give you a couple more comics that he's written. Yes, he's written for himself. He's written for Marvel. He's also written for DC. There are two books, most especially that I loved, Swamp Thing, and as always, this little known book that not a lot of people know, Superman Red Sun. That is one of my favorite Superman comic books. I think everyone should go read it and go see what who this guy is. If you haven't read anything by Mark Millar, I don't know why, but yeah, for whatever. But let's get into the Netflix acquisition. Now, with this Netflix acquisition, what I feel like is going to happen is you have the first advantage of this to me, or the first pro for me, is there's a lot of competition now. Well, there's more competition in the game because we've seen what Netflix can do when it comes to them, their original content in terms of their movies and some of their shows. Now, a lot of people are going to say this. What about the Marvel stuff? The Marvel stuff is not Netflix, and this is not a Netflix original. It is a Netflix original in the sense that they are putting it out there. They're distributing it. It's like with what happened with Sony and the Dark Tower. We have MRC with the actual rights to the content, and Sony just distributing it. Or like the MCU and Sony in terms of Spider-Man, where it is Spider-Man. Sony owns Spider-Man. The MCU made the movie, and Sony distroed the movie. They paid for it. So Netflix is literally distributing Marvel stuff. So MCU and ABC, they make their stuff. Netflix distributes it. So now with this one, why I said there's a lot of competition in the game is you have comic books that are very gritty, very hard. They go as hard, go balls to the wall. If you've read the original Wanted, if you've read the Kingsman books, if you've read the original Kick-Ass books or the Hit Girl books, or even if you've read Jupiter's Legacy and the Chrononauts, you know how hard Mark Millar goes balls to the wall. I mean, even if you've read Old Man Logan, you know that goes balls to the wall hard. And so what this is going to do is, if Netflix, we've already seen what they can do with their original content. Now, if Netflix can go as hard into these comic books, into this comic book content, and produce it and make it look as good as it looks in the comic books, we already have competition, because now you have Marvel on one side saying, or the MCU or Disney on one side saying, now we got to come up and step our game up to go as hard. DC and Warner Brothers, who are still trying to find a leg, come up and say, no, oh, now we got to go as hard. We have content that we have, because Warner Brothers and DC have content that can go just as hard, and they can go as hard, or maybe not as hard as Mark Millar or MillarWorld, but they can go just as hard. Now, and Fox has already gone all the way out with Logan, and they went all the way out with Deadpool, so they're not afraid to go as hard. But now this makes the other two, the bigger houses, stand up and say, okay, now we got to go just as hard, or just make our stuff look better or feel better. That's what this is going to do. There's going to be more salt in the game and more competition in the game. Now, with that said, this is another advantage to it. I feel like we can get the content from these comic books to go as hard and as they go in the comic books. Again, Netflix, I believe, is not necessarily beholden to the same stuff, or going the same way or route as Disney would with their Marvel content. And Warner Brothers is still trying to figure out where they want to go, or how hard they want to go with their DC content, especially with the new DCEU, is with the Millar comic book universe. We can have a Millar comic book universe, and they can connect stuff and build stuff, and we can go into each and every content as hard as they can. Word from David Ayer at Comic-Con is Netflix lets you go as hard as you want to. They don't hold you back. They don't hold the auteur back. They don't hold the director back. They let you do what you want. Go as hard as you want. Make your movie. So we might be getting an original, or very, very good looking original content from this comic books. And that to me already is an advantage. Now, the only thing is, like, some people have questions, say like an Old Man Logan, is there are some things that, doesn't look right or wouldn't translate right. Now, that's the only fear I have, is Mark Millar does go some edgy, has really edgy content that may or may not translate right, and that's the only thing that I'm really worried about. But again, that's just a small worry. I mean, that's not that big. But the other news that I wanted to talk about today, that is all I have for Mark Millar. And when more comes out, we'll be doing another video, doing more video updates on that. The other stuff I wanted to talk about was the cable reveal. We got a cable reveal today, and Vito loves it. A lot of you love it. I want to see more. I want to see more. I'm okay with. To me, it's an okay look. It's not as hard as they could have gone. Hey, don't shoot me at once. This is my opinion. I'm saying I'm okay with it. I don't love it. I want to see more of it, because I remember when a lot of other comic book stuff was released, and a lot of people were like, I don't know about this. I'm not sure about this. I even questioned Thor when he got released. I'm like, I don't know about this, but then I went back and I was like, oh, it's unworthy. And when you saw the trailer and you saw how he moved, I was like, okay, I can dig it. I'm okay with this. Same with Josh Brolin right now as Cable. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, but again, as more comes out and we see more content and we get a trailer and we see how he moves, I could be all for it. Again, that was something that got released, and I'm not sure if this is new news or old news, but we got Jafar for Aladdin. The ladies are going crazy. It's a good day for comic book, TV, news, and all of this good stuff coming out. So as more stuff is coming out, trust and believe that Earth 2 will be on top of it, to give you content and let you know how we feel about stuff. As always, let us know how you feel about everything that I've talked about in the comment section down below. Let me know if you're all for MillarWorld and Netflix, coming together. Let me know if you like the advantages that I gave you and then maybe the con that I gave you. Let me know what your pros and cons are. Let me know how you feel about cable, again, because that is another thing that might cause some fights, well, for me. But just let me know what you feel about cable. And as always, ladies, you're welcome to comment on Jafar and let me know what you think about him. I am done today. But before I go, I'm going to ask you guys to like and subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Check us out on Earth2 and on social media. Earth2 Comicast on Instagram, Facebook, and the Twitter. We'll be trying to tweet and upload content and update content on there as much as possible. Again, the podcast was back a couple weeks ago. We're back again this week with another great episode. We might be having friends over. I don't know yet. But as always, the podcast is going to be on audiomac.com. Check us out. The link is somewhere down here, and I'm also going to post a link down in the comment section, down in the description bar. Again, thank you guys for watching. As always, this is your boy MoeCrosby. I'll be coming out with more stuff as we go on. Thanks for watching. Keep reading. We'll get through along. Peace.